Hi, I'm Bill Arnold. Thank you for listening to this podcast. There are many more podcasts available at myfaithradio.com. Your support makes this possible. Thank you. Okay, it's time to begin. Let's start a countdown. 20, 19, 18, 17. I just start the song.
Oh, don't you know, it's the Bill Arnold Show. It's Bill.
And a warm welcome to the Bill Arnold Show. I'm so glad to have the Counselor's Corner today, so make sure you get your questions ready. You can text them over anytime you like. If you want to ask one of my counselors or all three of them at the same time, you can do that, 877-933-2484. And one of the things I'm really looking forward to is we're going to have Counselor's Corner live on January 27th, right here at the University of Northwestern in the Mel Johnson studio. That is going to be fun, so mark your calendar, save the date, January 27th, 5 o'clock p.m. What else should I be saying, Wyatt?
More information to come, once we get there. And look forward to that on the 27th of January. I hope they're looking forward to it. I think they are.
We haven't gotten to that.
People haven't gotten to see what we look like.
Not looking forward to that.
Hey, we didn't get the dress code. What are we supposed to dress up for this? Or?
No, you guys would look fine right now.
Let's all wear black.
Oh, that's depressing.
Nowhere to go but up from there.
Okay.
But let's
there is
make
a dress
sure
code.
Check with management, make sure this is even a good idea. I've got Todd Mulliken, Jenita Pace, and Marcus Bachmann with me. If you have a question, let me know what it is, 877-933-2484. I've been thinking about Christmas time and the holidays, and it doesn't seem that the Christmas creates issues as much as it highlights them. I've always said that Christmas time or major holidays is like a big magnifying glass on your life. Mm-hmm. If you're lonely or isolated or depressed or joyful or whatever it is, everything seems bigger. And Jenita, you were just saying before the show started that your client list is way up right now.
Yeah, Christmas time, that's when I have so many more clients making appointments and see so much more pain and hurt than I do even the rest of the year.
And one of the questions I want to start with is, am I responsible for healing things that weren't my fault? Ooh. Am I responsible for healing things that weren't my fault?
Yeah, there's a quick answer to that. Not necessarily the full answer, but
Okay.
I think we are responsible in our lives for that which maybe unfairly has damaged us, hurt us. We all have a responsibility to answer. We have a responsibility to answer to Christ, who has invited us into a relationship with Him, into a healing with Him, into dealing with the damage that has caused so much pain in our life. I think we have a responsibility, Bill, that we... I don't say that in a tough way necessarily, because I think Jesus calls us in a gentle way. He loves us unconditionally. And so when we talk about the difficult pain in our life, the trauma that's happened, the damage that's happened, I think we have a responsibility. What do we do with that? At least we need to ask some questions, get some help, and ask in a way that would be giving us the right answers.
Mm-hmm. Thank you for that comment, Marcus. I suppose if I'm not going to be responsible for healing things that weren't my fault, I could play the victim card for a long time.
Mm-hmm. Well, and I think about that word responsible, and this is going to sound maybe upside down, but I look back at my own suffering in my life, and now that I'm more through it, I almost look at it as an opportunity, which sounds like a scary word, but when I think about the passage that says suffering produces perseverance, perseverance character, and character hope. And so how bizarre that when we suffer, if we can find our way through it, it actually leads to, weirdly, a gift. So that's the only way I've gotten through my own suffering, is instead of thinking about it as a responsibility, thinking about it, shifting it in my brain as an opportunity to understand Christ more.
Get to versus a have to.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what that is such freedom in one's life. It's the character building, but it's freedom and no longer holding ourselves in the back rearview mirror and looking at, what someone did to us, what pain, whether it was out of our own choices or whether it was absolutely nothing that we could have control over. I mean, trauma and pain happens for a lot of different reasons. But there is, as Jenita, as you shared your own life, you saw Christ doing a work, character building, and what freedom I think that sounds like to me.
Yeah, and my life's been a train wreck. So, all that to say,
Join the club, right?
all that
Don't
to say
sugarcoat it. Just give it to us straight.
Yeah, really.
so anybody listening, I'm not saying that lightly. Like it's really right. Opportunity is a tricky word, but that's how I've framed it. That's how I've gotten through it.
In the first hour, I talked about the thing that I've heard from many people when they call it, "Oh, that was such a God thing." And I know that's connected to divine intervention, but it seems that we only use that on one side of the coin. We don't often say, "Oh boy, my life just was
A train wreck.
a train wreck," but that was a God thing.
So true, Bill.
Isn't it important how we use words?
Yes.
That's
I
really
mean, God controls all things.
Amen.
So you think of Joseph being sent and the life he lived, and that was a God thing, right?
Yeah.
But we don't really connect God thing to trouble. We just connect it to, hey, I got a new job. It was a total God thing.
Yeah, and we flip the pages so fast. Like these were years for these people, but we just flip the page and it's next. Now Joseph's out. Who knows that we do that? But was it 7 years? Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, what's the passage, Bill? It says, "Do everything you can to be at peace with others."
It's Romans
First
12.
Peter or something?
Romans.
The Romans, okay.
Yeah.
And blessed are the peacemakers. So not peacekeepers, but peacemakers. So that initial question, even if it's not my fault, we still get to do our part. And not give power to what's happened to us, but power to who we're becoming in Christ in those situations, however difficult they are, right? We're trying to, make peace as best as we can in Jesus.
I like that.
And talking about a God thing, Bill, I think it's important that we recognize God's not the creator of evil. There is an evil force in this world, but God is not the creator of that. But out of evil things, out of even disasters in our life, God can use that. And so it is a God thing that we are healed. It is a God thing that even though we had maybe a very horrific or terrible upbringing, a parent that just was not the way a parent should be, that God has created and called us to be as parents, that still is a God thing that as we build and work through that and see the freedom that we have in Christ through it, the healing that comes. I mean, the three of us are counselors, and we see changed lives. We see people that come into our office to begin with such a sad look or such an overwhelming sense or an anxiousness. And, within time, we see at least at the receptionist at the front desk can say to me, wow, just how they walk out of the office after some time, you can see that God has done a marvelous work.
That's wonderful.
It's a God thing.
Yeah.
And isn't it inspiring that Jesus chose a hard life? I mean, if we're talking about responsibility,
Exactly.
If I was God and I was coming to earth, I would have been born in a palace. I would have had a lot of money. I would have done a teaching circuit, died in old age. But I mean, talk about choosing hard. And it's easier for me to embrace my own hard when I look at the fact that God chose it for himself.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
We identify with Christ in that. Yeah.
It is the Counselor's Corner. I've got Todd Mulliken, Jenita Pace, and Marcus Bachmann. If you have a question for the group, let me know what it is, 877-933-2484. Here's a comment. I think the counselors should wear sequins and sparkling lights on the live show.
I love that.
I do too.
I'm going to say it right now. I have a boundary about that, and the answer is no.
No, that's a hard no. Okay.
I appreciate your show,
Now,
Bill.
Jenita may look. She'll look just fine
Yeah.
with sequence.
Yeah.
I'm sure.
Oh my God.
I don't. Todd and I.
Yeah.
Speak for yourself, dude.
Well, okay.
Now it'd be a
This
total
part
clown
of this
show.
is get Bill. Have Bill wear sequins. That would
What's
be
Bill going to wear?
Yeah.
That's the real question.
Todd, that verse is Romans 12:18. If it is possible, as far as it depends on you, live at peace with everyone. And that can be a key verse coming up this holiday season as families gather for Christmas and all the festivities.
Absolutely.
You know
Go
what's
ahead.
hard for me about that verse is I'm such a peacemaker that I can't stand the as it depends on you. Like I want
like that part, huh?
I want everyone to be at peace.
That's called controlling. Should we talk about that?
Oh, gosh.
Because you get to the point that you want to make someone we're going to get along. And
Yeah.
you just can't make it happen all the time.
So good.
I love Jenita's candor. Christmas is a rough time, honestly. I reflect constantly on Paul's warning in Corinthians where he says, he's paraphrasing, so brothers and sisters, don't be uninformed. We have such a garbage time. We wanted Jesus to meet us. And so then I am encouraged by Jesus' words of comfort, how in this world we will have trouble.
Gosh, isn't that whoever
I
wrote
give
that?
you
That's
peace.
That's
beautiful. And
it is.
the passage where it says the Lord is close to the brokenhearted. But what an expensive price to get close to the Lord is a broken heart. But that person, isn't that someone that you'd love to know? Someone who's already in the thick of it and sees Jesus. That's
Yeah.
Wasn't that what you were getting at, Bill, a little bit with it's a God thing? It can be really something really hard.
It can be, but we never refer to it as a God thing.
like that, yeah.
No, because we only give God credit for the good things.
Right.
And then we just get all pained out when trouble comes our way.
That's good.
Yet Jesus says, in this world you will have trouble, but be of good cheer. I've overcome the world.
Correct.
So how often are Christians characterized as people of good cheer?
Right.
But just as a reminder, when it happens, the hard thing, the tragedies, I think we have to be really careful of not pointing out to that person, that's a God thing, too quickly. Because there's a time where people need to go through some restoration, some healing. So I think we have to be careful of the timing of pointing out that it's a God thing. If we do say it's a God thing, I would just suggest we say it very gently and carefully, because too strong of words in the time of a person's healing doesn't help.
Yeah, I would think when we're using that, it's a God thing. Either way, it'd be more what's going on for us and share our own feelings about that, our own experience, right? Versus making that
to somebody else.
right.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
We've got the Counselor's Corner, Todd Mulliken, Jenita Pace, and Marcus Bachmann. If you have a question, let me know what it is. You can text it over, or if you have a comment that you'd like to share, you can text that over as well, 877-933-2484. We're going to take a short break and be right back. Hi, podcast listener. I'm Bill Arnold, and my theme song says, "What's for dinner?" And like when I'm grilling, I'm paying really close attention. And I know that ideal second to get the food off the grill. Like all good and ideal timings in life, right now would be an ideal time to be a cheerful giver to Faith Radio. Give now to support this podcast so that more people in more places might come to saving faith in Jesus and grow in their relationship and become a fully devoted follower. Click the link in the show notes or give now at myfaithradio.com. Welcome to the show. It is the Bill Arnold Show, and I have the Counselor's Corner in studio with me. I'm Todd Mulliken, Jenita Pace, and Marcus Bachmann, and we're just looking for your questions. If you have something you'd like to ask or a comment you'd like to make, it is very welcome. 877-933-2484 is the text line. Again, 877-933-2484. Let's talk about the healing. And when I go through healing, and it makes my loved ones uncomfortable because I'm trying to become a different person. I want to make changes, and other people are instantly critical. And that's uncomfortable. How should I handle that? And, you might show up with improvements at Christmas. You might show up going, hey, he's acting a little different. Because you're working on yourself, which is a good thing. Mm-hmm. And yet you got the people that know you the best coming at you like, what's with you?
Yeah, I think we probably see that a lot as counselors. I've had my clients say that as they've gotten healthier, sometimes their family members, even their identity has been wrapped up in this person being unwell.
Yeah.
They've been the caregiver, and suddenly now that this person is doing better, they don't know who they are anymore. And so it can take the form of a lot of rearranging in a family, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't it make revealing your changes a little bit more scary?
It can.
Yeah.
Yeah. I always, if somebody's challenging that or wondering about that, I always try to respond with curiosity, versus defensiveness, or, try to tell me more about that, or what's what do you see in that? Or so being comfortable with the changes we're making and not, coming off arrogant or something like that, but just very content and curious about why they're feeling the way they are. The one I see the most in my practice is when, let's say, somebody grew up in a home that had a fair amount of, abuse or hurt or alcoholism, and now they got married themselves and they're having kids, and now the kids, do we want to expose the kids to that over the holidays?
Amen. Yeah.
And so they're setting some healthy boundaries. They've talked to the parents who have been struggling in their maybe a codependent relationship or having alcoholism issues. And so, and we were setting boundaries. We love you, we're for you, but we're needing some of this to be addressed. And then what happens is, let's say I'm doing that, and my sibling hears about that and is really hurt that I'm breaking up the family. Right?
Exactly.
We see a lot of that. I see a ton of that. So how do I not get defensive at that sibling's reaction, but just really try to understand that they're maybe enmeshed in the situation or overprotecting a codependent mom or something? How do I just love that person well and see what just stay curious, because it's very disarming to be curious versus defensive or judging of them.
First things first, I think I'm going to just say the obvious. Change is really a good thing for us.
Amen.
And for us to be an improved person, a new person in Christ is a real deal, is what we're really after. So if we're coming into a family situation, and you're right, there's a lot of times where family members have been so used to the old person and their identity is wrapped up in them. There will be comments that will be made, whether it's someone who's stopped drinking or stopped, the abusive cycle in the home, and they're just not going to be a part of that. They can be made fun out of. They can be ridiculed. They can be shamed. And I think in some ways, you don't want to be so defensive about your reactions. So sometimes you can laugh with what they're saying if it's appropriate. But there are other times where you just have to say, I used to be like that, but that's not me anymore.
I like
and
that.
I'm very thankful that I'm not drinking anymore, because it used to control my life. I'm so thankful I'm not swearing anymore or as much. Christ has done a work in me. Christ is doing a work in me. So thanks for your understanding.
Wow, that's a mic drop moment. Beautiful, Marcus.
Well, I think it's honest, and I think you've got to be able to say, you got to disarm that person in some ways. And you got to say to that person, it isn't a mean thing to say. It's just a honest thing to say. I'm no longer that person. Or I'm trying to be someone who God has intended. And just think about the marble that's rolling around in the other person's head, thinking, wait a minute, wait a minute. Right. I didn't expect that from him,
Right.
So.
And it's, I think, a little, I don't say trickier, but more delicate when I'm that person that's changing and healing, but I'm setting a boundary against somebody else in that room, right? So then what's my messaging about that, right? How do I handle that well in a way that's understanding and sees the other and sees the struggle that everybody's having in that, right? That's delicate.
And I think if it's a parent that you've changed and you don't want your children exposed to certain, inappropriateness at it's a family Christmas gathering,
You bet.
What do? I think you talk about it ahead of time.
For sure.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say that day but
no.
There still are some surprises that happen.
Yeah.
And so I think you still have to say something.
Absolutely.
But sometimes it's not the wisest thing to carry the traditions of going back home and having Christmas there. I mean, to me, Christmas is a sacred day. And this is probably not going to work for everybody, but I don't know that I'd want to go back and expose my children to that which is so unhealthy on a sacred day.
Yeah. And I think it's important for people to keep in mind that everyone's evolving. I mean, the beauty of our faith is that no one is beyond change. So sometimes I hear people talk about boundaries and they're setting them as if this is the way it's going to be forever.
Right.
And I'm not saying there aren't situations where, you for the safety of people, you have to. But so oftentimes it's so important, I think, to take it slow.
Yeah.
Each Christmas can be evaluated. And you don't have to make a change this year that lasts forever.
Right.
So sometimes I see my clients getting stuck because they're kind of, creating a catastrophe down the road and years and years and years where slowing it down a bit, one holiday at a time.
I like that whole evaluation process. Just in a few days from now, we get to evaluate how did Christmas go.
That's true.
And what do we want to have changed about it? I mean, isn't that a smart thing to do about, any family gathering or any important event or any something that we've created that has some value to it? How can we improve that? Or what should we have done differently? And if we're married, we have a spouse to talk to, or if we have friends, we could say, I do that all the time about Christmas. I say, well, what could we have made? How could we have made Christmas even? What did you like, and what would you have changed?
How could we enhance it? Or
Because we're still coming off Thanksgiving, which could have been either a blessing or a disaster, and now
for sure,
a month later, we're looking at the regathering of the family. So you could get triggered very quickly. And as much as you'd like to say what you just said, Marcus, which you said so beautifully, if you're triggered and you get emotionally hijacked, it might not come out quite as eloquent as you stated it.
Yeah.
That's true.
No, the preparation is important. We go into those situations with, I talk a lot about proactive versus reactive. Like, we're proactively going into the situation. We've shot 100 free throws emotionally, if you will, really practiced, not because practice makes perfect, if you will, but because we get to be at our best self when we're going into that. It's not we're putting on pressure on ourselves or having a performance, but really trying to bring our best self and Jesus to that situation, because we want to rewire that nervous system. And the best way we do that is in times when we're in our wise mind versus our hurt mind. Because you're absolutely right. Marcus said it beautifully, but in game time, sometimes it just, those words get slippery and it's hard.
Yeah.
Right? Really hard.
But we feel oftentimes hurt in a family situation that when people have crossed a line with us. And I think it's important just to say it. What you just said and what you just said hurts. And I think even that simple expression, and, they can be turn around and say, oh, you're just a baby. Well, even saying that to me hurts.
That's a double hurt.
It is.
Yeah.
Why not say it?
Yeah.
Why not say, if we're connected to our feelings, if we're in the process of being healed and someone crosses the line and we still have feelings, we're not, feeling less when we're healed. And I think we can still say that I don't appreciate that.
It's the both and, right? You're honest about, you don't want to be defensive. You just want to be honest backwards in a way that's healthy backward. Honesty today prevents problems tomorrow. So when we're honest like that, and we're taught that Romans 12:9, love must be sincere. So we're sincere about the beautiful things that are said and sincere about the hard things. That's really great modeling, I think, isn't it?
Yes, absolutely.
It is, and we just get to be comfortable in that.
All right, in Proverbs chapter 4, verse 23, it says, above all, guard your heart, for everything you do flows from it. So if I'm in your counseling office, how would you express or help me understand this biblical verse?
I think about when Jesus said in the New Testament, everything you say is the outflow of the heart. Like the words that are coming out of your mouth are from the excess of what's already in there. And I have to say for myself, what I have to guard myself against is myself. Like it's so natural for me to think about myself first. Like even in a family environment, when someone says something, evaluating how it impacts me, Jenita Pace, and sometimes realizing that it's okay if it's not about me. Right. You know what I mean? Right. Like, what does it look like to not live for Jenita Pace and live for something bigger? So I have to guard myself against myself.
Yeah, that's
that
good.
Makes sense.
I like that.
That's really good.
Yeah.
But guarding your heart is such a big deal. Mm-hmm. I mean, when we as counselors talk to people about, what do our eyes see? What do our ears hear? Remember that little Sunday school song? Oh, yeah. Be careful what you...
Could you sing it, Marcus?
No, I'm not singing it because I can't remember the words.
We'll sing it live.
We could open it.
Sequence.
Yeah. What is it again?
I'm not helping him. I'm liking this.
Oh, you guys.
Actually, I don't know. But
I'm trying to remember from 5 years old.
What you see. Yeah.
Be careful, little ears, what you hear. For the Father up above is looking from above. No, from the Father up above is looking down below. No. That's the way the major song. I wrecked that one.
Speaking
I'm
of
really
train
sorry. I
wrecks.
wasted 15 seconds on that.
I like his voice a little bit.
But the point is, we have responsibility to guard our hearts. Mm-hmm. And so what we see and what we hear and what we do with our lives and what we focus on, and if we are around negativity, if we're around people who are complaining all the time, and that's our group of friends, you need a new group of friends. Mm-hmm. Yeah. If that's your environment, I think guarding our heart is so essential to our spiritual relationship with Christ. And if we're watching too much Netflix, okay, don't mean to step on too many toes here, but, and I'm tempted. I'm tempted to watch a show that I shouldn't be watching. Temptations are not new. Mm-hmm. It's just guarding ourselves and saying, be careful. Really think about how I'm spending my time and what I'm investing in so that my ultimate relationship issue is a special relationship with Christ and not with the things of the world or those things that try to overtake us.
All right, we're going to take a little break and come back. If you have a question or comment for the counselors, let me know what it is. 877-933-2484. I have Todd Mulliken, Jenita Pace, and Dr. Marcus Bachmann with me. If you want to send your question over, now's a good time to do it. 877-933-2484. We are back with the Counselor's Corner. You're listening to The Bill Arnold Show. I've got Todd Mulliken, Jenita Pace, and Dr. Marcus Bachmann. Todd can be reached at toddmulliken.com. Are you up to speed with your website? Got the bills paid?
No hacking this past month.
Oh, good?
Yes.
Good.
It's a good month.
MULLIKEN.
Beautiful.
toddmulliken.com. And Jenita can be reached at Three Rivers Counseling, which is is it in Bloomington?
It's threeriversmn.com.
threeriversmn.com.
It's in Burnsville.
Burnsville, yeah. I was half right. Which, if you host a radio show, that's good.
I was going to say, doing pretty good, buddy. Doing good.
And, Bill, they don't have to contact me, so that's okay.
They don't have to, do they?
It's all right.
You prefer they don't?
I'm just fine today.
Well, Marcus was excited because somebody wrote in the right words to the song.
Yes.
Thank you, listener, whoever that is.
Julie.
Good job, Julie.
Julie said, Father up above is looking down in love.
Thanks, Julie, because he was just going to keep trying all night.
My singing is not good today or any day.
Well, Marcus can be found at counselingcare.us, counselingcare.us. I was talking about this with Mark Muska in the first hour, and I should have saved this question for you all, because I was talking about worry and how we have a tendency, and some people will say, that's just how I'm wired. And I think, what do you mean? That's how you're wired. Isn't that kind of a sin nature? Worrying? Jesus tells us not to worry. So what are your thoughts about that?
Well, I think there are genetic vulnerabilities to certain issues, including worry or fear. And so I think some people have more vulnerability to it than others. And I think my view is that God doesn't say fear not, he says say fear not. I mean, but I hear you, I'm just wired like that, but what would I get to do about that? And I would also say, like, worry in and of itself is sometimes a healthy thing, right? I'm walking out in the middle of 494, and at 3 p.m, I probably should be worried, right?
Yes, you should.
So I think it kind of depends on what we're talking about. Excessive worry is when we start getting into the anxiety disorder kind of vulnerability. We're excessively worrying. So ideally, you want to just walk alongside people that have that vulnerability to fear. That situation where I feel I'm wired like that, now what do I get to do to gently reframe that, and what do I get to do with that? But also have compassion for the fact that I struggle with that. It's hard. And that's the most common vulnerability in the world.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's powerful that Jesus calls us sheep, and sheep are anxious animals. I mean, they're always worried about getting, attacked. Mm-hmm. And when one freaks out and runs, they all run. They don't even know. You know what I mean? Like, there's no questions asked.
Yeah,
they just all start running. I think we're so like that. I think we have that in us. Mm-hmm. And I love what you said, Todd, that don't be anxious about anything. When my son was young and scared, I wouldn't run in and start yelling at him. Don't be afraid. And I think so oftentimes as Christians, we read that in the wrong tone. Mm-hmm. I mean, I think the fact that Jesus was scared before he died is indicative that it's real. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Is worry just a nagging personality trait, or is it sin?
That's not an easy answer.
Why? What do you think?
I don't go.
I'll just ask Wyatt because you guys aren't talking. So.
I still think it'd be better for them to answer this one. Just give them a second.
That bought him some time.
They'll start talking. Here we go.
Yeah, that bought him some time.
Okay. So I'm back to this. There's some normal approach to understanding fear and anxiousness. If there's a rat right now in this office, we saw, depending on the size of it, I think, or a rattlesnake, I think we would say, hey, I got a little worry here, So, but I don't, I think this, if a person has developed, this is about guarding your heart again, developed a sense of, I'm anxious about life, and I'm fearful about life, and I can't handle life, or I'm worried about pretty much anything that could happen to me today. That is an opportunity to come in to our offices and say, we need to talk about. Let's unlayer this. Let's take a look at what is your thought process? What's your belief system? What is your understanding of who you are as an identity? And uncovering that really will take some time. So I don't think we have to call it sin right now. It could be sin if we choose not to get help, if we choose not to get better, and not to respond to what God's healing power is. So I think that there is a freedom that we have in guarding our heart against those things that we're not called to.
Yeah, and I think about Jesus is in the garden, and he's having such a bad panic attack. He's sweating blood, and he has to have an angel come and comfort him, which just blows my mind. And I can hear the voices of Christians that I love but are judgmental, judging him, saying, this was your plan, and if you had more faith, you wouldn't be scared. You should, you know what I mean? Like
Totally.
you can almost hear the voices of the people that would be the audience members questioning if he was not having enough faith. But I think that, like you said, Marcus, it's sometimes we are really up against hard things, and it's not that our heart's in the wrong place. We're just up against something hard. And I'm just so appreciative that Jesus is so vulnerable, that he would put
Models
that story in there.
Yeah.
I really appreciate that.
I read a book that playwright David Mamet wrote about performing, and he said, make sure after every show you wipe your feet on the mat and go home. And I'm thinking about the three of you and the days you have listening to a lot of heartbreaking problems and how you can compartmentalize that and try to do your very best to wipe your feet on the mat and go home.
Well, that's important for us to be able to be present with our clients.
Yeah.
And sincerely, authentically do that which God has called us to. But I think we have to be ready for the next hour for someone else who's coming in with another story. Mm-hmm. And when God's equipped us to do that, then it's really an honor, each one of us. It's an honor to walk alongside someone who is in need of healing.
Such a privilege.
I can't think of a better job than doing what we're doing.
Yep.
There's a fulfillment to it. There's an excitement to it. You can see change in people's lives. I mean, sometimes we have disasters that happen in our offices, and you just think, why did you come to my office? But, overall, most people, because they want to get help. That's the perfect client.
Yeah.
I want to get some help. I need some help.
Yeah.
It's got to be pretty thrilling when you can help people in transformational moments in their life.
Yeah.
Honestly, that is so cool.
Yeah. And it's almost more rewarding when it's slow and gradual because then you get to notice every piece of it. I feel like when I get to heaven, I'm going to tell God that I thought he was too slow because he's slow on everything. But, but when I watch my clients and I know I can see the trajectory where they're going, and it's amazing. It reminds me of just every little step to get there. I had a Bible professor say, I was upset that my depression was taking so long to deal with. And he said, well, if God started a country with one barren woman at a time, one baby at a time, he's really probably not in a hurry with you. And I hated that. But it's true, to create a whole nation of people and choose barren women and have one child at a time. So those are the kind of things I tell myself as I watch my clients work.
Bill, to your point, though, about guarding the heart and then wiping your feet off, I think it's just good to remind ourselves as counselors, we aren't the rescuers, we're the walk alongsiders, like Marcus said, right?
Yeah.
Because that's when we start getting into that kind of mindset, or we're defined by how it goes too much, then we can really wear it, and people burn out when they do that.
I bet.
Yeah. So the reframe of an honor and a privilege, just to be open-handed with it. And I love the slow thing too, Jenita. It's so good because when we're helping clients with the good days and the hard days, and it's always a both and, right? Mm-hmm.
Thank you for your questions. I've got a couple here. Working in geriatrics healthcare, the residents' complaints and behavior are hard to endure. What do you recommend? That's challenging.
Yeah, one of the dilemmas of aging really is learning how to regulate loss. And it's really hard as we age. Our world gets smaller, and there's a lot of loss and a lot of grief. And if that isn't kind of understood or kind of dealt with, we can get really, crabby and irritable, and certain symptoms of delirium or, dementia and stuff have more vulnerability to those issues too. So I just want to validate where your listener is at. That's hard. And the best we can do really is see them in their aging process with how hard that is. And you're probably a wonderful light for them each day.
Sadness and loss, grieving, doesn't stop at the age of 80.
It doesn't.
There's a lot that people have some regrets and some sorrow about, an unfinished business because they didn't see a counselor in their 30s and 40s or whatever the case may be. And unfinished business does, when you're working with that population, it's a tough thing. Patience is certainly a nice. If we could get that in a bottle and drink that every day, that would be a good thing, wouldn't it be? But the truth is, I think you got to keep when you're working with the elderly like that, you got to keep things moving, talking, and then we're going to switch over to something else because we got to redirect. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So there's a lot of things that there are tools in the toolbox for. That are available to people that are working, bless them for, that's not an easy job.
No, in late adulthood, the most common thing that Eric Erickson would say is integrity versus despair. So are we looking back at our story with some of the things that really we hold dear, or are we more vulnerable to that despair, like you said, Marcus? And so many people are vulnerable to look back at what didn't go well and the regrets we have. And as we live in that and we're helping people in care facilities who are managing that or dealing with that, it's a lot. So we get to, but I also see a lot of folks that work with people in care facilities, and it is an honor to do that too.
Yes.
It is an honor. But it's really, really challenging. But I think as we see what they're going through in that aging process, that helps to see what they're going through versus taking it on.
Yeah.
So I come into your office and I say, I've been putting off going to counseling because. What do you hear the most often? Because, we were talking about this, and somebody made a reference about, I think it was you, Marcus, you didn't go see a counselor in your 30s. So now you have some regrets. And I don't know why people pause or hesitate or are reluctant. If there's a stigma attached to it, because if you have a hot or cold sensitivity on a tooth, you make an appointment that day. You get into the dentist that first opening.
Well,
because you don't mess around.
There's no
feel
stigma to that
I hear
one.
a lot of people say time. Like, I feel like this is a busy culture, and we're working a ton of hours. We're trying to get the kids to everything. I mean, I've had clients say, like, I know I should have come a long time ago. I just didn't take the time.
Okay.
I mean, have you heard that before? Like,
Well, unfortunately, I'm old enough. I don't want to. How about I look at you, Marcus? My bad.
We should go to break. We should go to break. Try to save this.
I'm old enough to remember, I heard a lot earlier about stigma, in the 80s and 90s.
in the Christian community, that's still,
It's still a little bit of a hangover in the Christian community, but it's better now. I don't get as much of, I didn't want to come in. I don't hear that as much.
Okay.
I really
They're
don't.
glad to be there, right?
Yeah, mostly. I mean, sure, if I have an adolescent who says to me, hey, I shouldn't be the one here. My mom should be in here. My dad should be in here. I may get that. Like sometimes a kiddo or an adolescent or young adult strong-armed in by the parent, and they don't really want to be there. But I'm glad I came. After a while, they develop a relationship, and they're glad they came. But I don't know about you, Marcus. What do you think? What do you find in your practice? I just don't hear that quite as much as I used to.
Yeah, I'm so old, I don't remember any of that. So I
don't embrace that.
Yeah. Yeah, I am very, very thankful about the stigma that has been, evaporated for so many people. I mean, there's still some, for instance, there are some men that, have a difficult time admitting pride is an issue there for them to come in. But I think there's been a real change in the Christian community too.
Agreed.
That they've said, it's a good thing. It's an important thing. It's a courageous thing for us to come in to get some help. So I'm very thankful for that. But I think people would say, just like going to the dentist on time, it's so much better that after they've experienced that freedom in their life, I should have done this years ago.
I think we're hearing it more from pulpits, too.
Yes.
About getting good Christian counseling. They're encouraging people to seek help. Which I think is good.
And do you find that people will say, well, like with the tooth, like it keeps hurting until you go.
Right.
Or I feel like with mental health, people will say, well, I didn't make the time because I was doing better. And then I wasn't doing good. And I had the day where I felt I should get a counselor. Then I was doing a little better. So I feel like people don't see it as like with their physical body, you go to work out and take care of your body consistently. Right. I feel like mental health people kind of can ping when they feel like they're ready and then ping out.
All right.
Well, even people will escape with, at least in our counseling agency in August, we get a change in intakes because people are at their cabins.
Oh, yeah.
They're escaping, which is a good thing to go to a cabin. Yeah. But for just a moment in the Midwest, people who have cabins, they're having a good time.
Yeah.
But a week after Labor Day, oh, we get the calls. We get the calls.
All right. We'll be right back with lots more Counselor's Corner. Todd Mulliken, Jenita Pace, and Marcus Bachmann are my guests. If you have a question or comment, the text line is open, 877-933-2484. We'll be right back.
Psst, have you heard the news?
Listening just got better with the new and improved Faith Radio app. No more restrictions, no more static, no more missing your favorite shows. Now, listen when you want, where you want, and share with everyone. When you need hope, encouragement, Jesus, it's right there on your phone. Text the word app to 877-933-2484 and follow the link or search Faith Radio Network in your app store.
I'm back with the Counselor's Corner. Todd Mulliken, Jenita Pace, Marcus Bachmann. If you have a question or comment, you can text it over 877-933-2484. Here's a question. Am I accurate when I say the God I believe in doesn't make mistakes? I would say yes.
Oh, God doesn't make mistakes.
He doesn't.
Right.
No, so that was a...
Yeah, that's easy.
let me affirm that, listener.
that'd be
Yes, God never makes a mistake. Now, that doesn't mean that evil doesn't exist and bad things happen, but that's not God's doing. And there's a lot of things that are of natural consequences that happen in our life that we have no control over. But God doesn't make a mistake.
Mm-hmm.
He certainly hasn't made a mistake in who He's created, and He's created us in His image.
Amen.
So there's a great celebration that we should have in our identity, knowing He's created us.
Mm-hmm. If a person cries easily, are they emotionally weak or emotionally strong? Are they processing their emotions in real time because they can cry so readily? Or, because I imagine in your offices there's lots of tears.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's so beautiful and a bit bizarre that Jesus cried so much. I mean, I think there's so many instances where He weeps, like it's not even crying, it's like hardcore weeping. And again, I wouldn't have guessed that from the God of the universe living on the planet. And so I think it's really incredible that God allows for that kind of, and even celebrates that kind of emotional experience.
There are people that have certain personalities that they're wired, more of a sensitivity, which I think is a beautiful thing. The fact that they can, I typically don't cry at commercials, but, there are...
I pictured you as such.
But I think, I just honor the fact that God has created certain people with a sensitivity, and they just bring out a sense of understanding that we don't all have as much. And I think it's a beautiful thing.
And I think everybody's different in that way, Bill, genetically too. That's a piece of our emotional makeup. And so I work a ton with couples, families on just accepting our differences. Like, hey, he's really a crier. Like, oh, she doesn't cry at all. What's wrong? Or he cries too much. Like, usually the person that is saying that, because I do that all the time with me and my wife, like, oh, no, that's who you are, and that's how you're made in God's image, if that makes sense. Some people have a harder time accessing that, and they show emotions in different ways. So how do we accept those differences versus... but I think it's a beautiful thing to be. I know for me, when I do cry, it's really like very freeing for me. I don't do it very much, but when I do cry, it's very freeing. I know that.
I'm an easy crier.
Are you?
But isn't it interesting that we usually apologize when we start crying?
Oh my gosh.
That is such a cultural thing. It is.
It still is.
Have we lost control when we start crying? Is that a loss of control?
No, not at all.
No,
I don't think so either.
Yeah.
No.
Almost like recalibrates your nervous system, doesn't it?
It can.
I mean, a good cry kind of makes you feel better.
Yeah. But Todd, that's a really important thing about acceptance of each other and our different traits and our different personalities. And, versus a couple that keeps trying to correct and change and not accept. I mean, that's a lifelong deal that when they get to the nursing home, it still doesn't change. They're still complaining about each other. And I think there's a beauty in that, in understanding each other.
It's fantastic. First thing I talk about in marriage retreats I lead is, like, my wife's very introverted, I'm very extroverted. The first year I thought she was a loser and had no friends, and she thought I had untreated ADHD, which I do. and
we're going to keep it that way, Todd, aren't we? Right. This is good.
We reframed that now, where she reads more books in a week than I have my entire life. But all of our daughters read, and it's beautiful, and she loves quiet. right? And she's accepted my my extroversion. But when we were building cases against, it's not a good idea. When we build a case for the other, it's very freeing.
Yeah.
All right, that's all the time we have. A very merry and mighty Christmas to you three. Thank you for being here.
Phil, you too.
We will
Wonderful.
gather again on January 27th right here live at the University of Northwestern in the Mel Johnson studio. Look forward to seeing you. Mark your calendar. Save the date. Do whatever you're going to do. But I want to thank Todd Mulliken, Jenita Pace, and Marcus Bachmann for being amazing guests. Have a great night, everyone. I'll see you tomorrow. Thanks for listening. Programming like this is made available through your support. Information available at myfaithradio.com.